In the endless expanse of the cosmos, where stars burned like distant memories and the void whispered secrets of forgotten eras, a colossal silhouette drifted silently against a tapestry of darkness. The warship, once the pinnacle of Earth's military might, now lay in a state of eerie decay. Its once imposing form was marred by the ravages of time and conflict. Scars etched into its metal hull told stories of battles fought and lives lost. In the cold year of 2347, humanity's zenith had faded into a melancholy echo, leaving behind only relics of an era steeped in both glory and sorrow. The setting was a derelict orbital station, its once vibrant neon glow now reduced to intermittent flickers that danced across broken panels and abandoned corridors. This spaceborne mausoleum, suspended in a forgotten orbit, served as a silent witness to the collapse of civilizations. Amidst this backdrop of dilapidated technology and silent testimonies to a bygone age, the warship floated, a ghostly remnant of an empire that had reached too high and fallen too hard. Below, on the surface of a long-abandoned metropolis, the remnants of humanity struggled to piece together the fragments of their shattered world. Among these survivors was Dr. Celeste Marlowe, a figure as enigmatic as she was resolute. Once a celebrated military engineer, Celeste had traded the battlefield for the dusty archives of history. Now, her days were spent scouring the ruins for clues, cryptic data, half-buried records, and echoes of voices that seemed to resonate from the depths of time. Her hands, stained with the marks of both past battles and present determination, moved with precision as she delicately manipulated faded blueprints and ancient schematics in her makeshift laboratory. Celeste's sanctuary was a dimly lit room tucked away in a crumbling section of the city, where relics of technology mingled with personal mementos, a faded photograph of a lost friend, a broken compass, and a notebook filled with hastily scribbled theories about humanity's inevitable decline. Here, in this space of quiet desperation and relentless hope, the warship's final transmission began to stir. It started as a mere anomaly in the static, a ghost of a signal that tugged at the corners of her consciousness, urging her to listen, to remember, to uncover the truth. The silence of the station was punctuated by the hum of dormant machinery and the distant echo of collapsing infrastructure. As Celeste sat before her array of flickering monitors, the warship's message emerged slowly, like the soft crackle of an old radio coming back to life. Every fragmented byte of data carried with it a palpable weight, a burden of secrets and the residue of past ambitions. The mysterious transmission seemed to beckon her, promising revelations that could either restore the hope of a new beginning or plunge the remnants of civilization into further despair. As the chapter of her life unfolded before her eyes, Celeste could not shake the feeling that she was on the precipice of something monumental. The warship, once a symbol of unmatched power and unyielding resolve, now served as a silent oracle, its broken body a testament to the hubris of mankind and the ephemeral nature of glory. With each passing moment, the enigmatic echoes from the void grew louder, resonating deeply with the echoes of her own troubled past. In that moment, as the interplay of light and shadow danced across her determined features, Celeste resolved that she would follow this trail, no matter where it led. The mystery of the final transmission was not merely a call from the past. It was a challenge to confront the darkest corners of human ambition and to seek redemption in the ashes of lost dreams. The silent warship and its haunting message had stirred something within her, a yearning for answers, a desire to reclaim the narrative of a shattered world. With resolve hardening in her heart, she prepared to embark on a journey that promised not only to uncover the secrets of a fallen empire, but also to confront the very essence of what it meant to be human in a universe where even the stars could forget their purpose. Night had fallen over the shattered metropolis like a suffocating shroud. Under the pale glow of a fractured moon and the intermittent flicker of failing streetlights, Dr. Celeste Marlowe found herself isolated in her makeshift sanctuary, a cramped room cluttered with relics of a forgotten era and scattered remnants of once vibrant technology. The soft hum of ancient servers and the low drone of a malfunctioning generator filled the silence as she meticulously combed through countless data fragments, each one a potential key to unlocking the mysteries of humanity's collapse. It began subtly, as many revelations do, a barely discernible anomaly hidden deep within a cascade of static. Celeste's eyes, ever vigilant and wary, caught the faint pulse of a signal that pulsed like a heartbeat amidst the electronic noise. Her heart quickened. Leaning closer to the array of blinking monitors, she adjusted the frequencies and isolated the errant transmission, listening intently as it grew more distinct. A crystalline voice emerged from the chaos, fragile yet insistent. Dr. Marlowe, if you're hearing this, do not let it fall into the wrong hands. The words were laden with urgency, each syllable a beacon of hope and a warning wrapped into one. The message, though fragmented, resonated with a weight that belied its digital origins, a summons that beckoned her to unlock secrets long sealed by time and neglect. Celeste's fingers trembled slightly as she keyed in commands, her mind racing with a mix of excitement and foreboding. The transmission was unlike anything she had encountered before. It was as though the warship itself, now silent and abandoned, had been left with one final, desperate act of communication, a final attempt to warn, or perhaps guide, those still capable of discerning the truth from the remnants of digital decay. Within the dim glow of her lab, Celeste pored over the initial lines of code, decoding the message with painstaking precision. Every resolved bit of data painted a picture of a past filled with ambition, sacrifice, and a catastrophic reliance on power. The fragmented message hinted at the existence of a dormant superweapon, a relic of technological might that could tip the scales of any future conflict, or doom any semblance of hope that remained. More chilling still was the subtext of the transmission, a veiled warning that those who sought to exploit its secrets might unleash chaos on a scale unimaginable. As the minutes stretched into hours, Celeste's solitary vigil grew more intense. The room, cluttered with the physical remnants of a bygone era, became a crucible of discovery where every blinking light and whispered bite of information was imbued with significance. The transmission's urgency pulled at the edges of her rational mind, compelling her to piece together a narrative that seemed to straddle the line between salvation and destruction. Her internal dialogue was a relentless debate, a battle between the allure of forbidden knowledge and the prudent caution born of her painful past. Is this a relic of hope or a siren call to catastrophe? She wondered, her voice barely audible in the quiet that enveloped her. The more she deciphered, the clearer it became that this was no mere accident of data. It was a deliberate call to action from a force long thought extinguished, a remnant of a war that had reshaped the very fabric of existence. The discovery was not just technological, it was profoundly personal. With every decoded fragment, Celeste was drawn deeper into a labyrinth of memory and regret. Echoes of her own past, of battles fought and ideals lost, mingled with the stark realization that she might hold the key to averting a future equally fraught with peril. The transmission, enigmatic and fraught with danger, promised answers to questions that had long haunted the ruins of her world. In that moment, amidst the flickering screens and the low, steady drone of antiquated machinery, a silent pact was forged. Celeste knew that her life was about to change irreversibly. The mysterious message was a clarion call, a beacon in the darkness urging her to step beyond the confines of her isolated existence and confront the unknown. The discovery was a bridge between the past and an uncertain future, one that beckoned her with the promise of hidden truths and the heavy burden of responsibility. As the final echoes of the transmission faded into the ambient hum of the room, Celeste sat back, her gaze fixed on the slowly stabilizing signal. In that quiet moment of revelation, she resolved to pursue every lead, no matter how treacherous the path might be. The discovery was a seed planted in the fertile soil of desperation and hope, a seed that would soon grow into an inexorable force, setting her on a collision course with destiny. In the aftermath of that fateful transmission, Celeste's days blurred together in a relentless pursuit of the truth buried within ancient archives and battered relics. Her every step led her into the labyrinth of history, a realm where memories of wars and whispered secrets intertwined with the tangible decay of a once glorious civilization. Late one rain-soaked evening, in the claustrophobic confines of her dimly lit study, Celeste uncovered a trove of encrypted records archived beneath layers of dust and time. As she slowly peeled back the layers of forgotten data, each document revealed vivid snapshots of Earth's fractured past. The pages and holographic files spoke of bustling cities teeming with life, of monumental battles that had shaken the foundations of society, and of a relentless ambition that had once promised salvation even as it sowed the seeds of its own destruction. With every deciphered line of code and every meticulously restored image, a haunting mosaic of the past began to emerge, a tale of soaring achievements marred by tragic hubris. Celeste's mind was transported back to the front line of a war that had not only scarred the planet, but had etched its sorrow into the hearts of those who survived. In these flashbacks, the sounds of distant explosions, the acrid tang of burning metal, and the desperate cries of comrades long gone converged into a spectral chorus that both tormented and motivated her. As her investigation deepened, the shadows of her own history crept in. Memories of a time when she had fought on the front lines, a fierce, young engineer whose idealism was slowly corroded by the relentless brutality of conflict, rushed back with an almost physical intensity. In the midst of these recollections, Celeste found herself confronting the bittersweet duality of progress, the wonder of technological marvels, and the grim consequences of their misuse. Parallel to Celeste's introspective journey, another figure navigated his own dark path through history. Admiral Cale Voss, a man whose presence seemed to loom as ominously as the relics of a bygone era, began to assert his influence within the shadowed corridors of power. In a stark, imposing command center aboard a covert vessel, Voss addressed a gathering of loyal officers. His voice, resonant and measured, filled the room with an unsettling blend of authority and vulnerability. "History is not written by the victors alone," Voss proclaimed, his eyes flickering with a fire that belied the deep scars of his own past. "It is etched in blood and loss. And from these remnants, we must forge a future, one where chaos is mastered and order is reclaimed." His words, both stirring and foreboding, painted a picture of a man who saw himself as the architect of a new order, a savior determined to right the wrongs of a fractured society. Yet beneath that steely exterior lay a troubled soul, tormented by the choices he had made and the weight of his ambition. While Celeste sought truth and reconciliation with the past, Voss's path was paved with a desire for control, a yearning to harness the power of lost technologies to shape a destiny defined by certainty, even if it meant sacrificing the fragile essence of human freedom. As the echoes of their disparate journeys converged, the past assumed a palpable presence in every corner of Celeste's study. Faded photographs of smiling faces now juxtaposed with grim battle scenes. Personal mementos that once evoked hope now served as somber reminders of love lost and dreams shattered. The narratives of those who had come before her mingled with her own memories, creating a rich, albeit painful, tapestry of experiences that spanned generations. In that dim sanctuary of relics and echoes, Celeste resolved to confront the duality of history, the light and darkness interwoven into the fabric of human existence. Every piece of evidence she recovered was not merely a clue to the superweapon's dormant secrets, but a testament to the enduring struggle between ambition and integrity. The shadows of the past, with all their sorrow and splendor, beckoned her to uncover a truth that could redefine the future. Caught between the specters of bygone eras and the urgent call of the present, Celeste understood that to navigate the treacherous currents of destiny, she must first embrace the legacy of her own scars. As she delicately adjusted a piece of weathered equipment, a battered datapad inscribed with the names of fallen heroes, she made a silent vow to honor the memories of those lost by unearthing every hidden truth, even if the revelations threatened to upend everything she believed in. Thus, amid the interplay of light and shadow in that quiet study, the path ahead grew unmistakably clear. The past was not a chain to be cast off, but a compass, guiding her toward an uncertain future where every secret unearthed carried the potential for both redemption and ruin. In the crumbling heart of a once vibrant city, deep within a labyrinth of forgotten basements and clandestine passageways, Celeste had established her makeshift laboratory, a haven of dim lights, scattered data terminals, and relics of advanced technology now shrouded in decay. Here, among the tangled skein of wires and obsolete hardware, the warship's final transmission pulsed relentlessly on a series of flickering monitors, demanding to be unraveled. Celeste's fingers danced over the console's interface as she initiated the decoding protocol. The initial cascade of data emerged in streams of indecipherable symbols, a chaotic dance of numbers, letters, and binary code that seemed to pulse with an eerie, almost sentient rhythm. With every keystroke, the code began to yield secrets, cryptic references to coordinates, embedded timestamps, and unsettling warnings that hinted at the dormant superweapon hidden within the warship's core. Every piece of this puzzle speaks of deliberate design, Celeste murmured, her voice a blend of wonder and trepidation. In the half-light of her lab, she scribbled notes on a battered tablet, linking fragments of data with annotations that revealed a timeline of events long obscured by the passage of time. The transmission was like a diary, each line a desperate plea from the past, inscribed in the language of decay and coded desperation. As she delved deeper into the digital labyrinth, a series of patterns emerged that hinted at the warship's operational matrix. Celeste's mind raced with the possibility that this very transmission could be the key to reactivating, or perhaps permanently disabling, a weapon capable of altering the balance of power in the shattered remnants of Earth. The stakes were monumental, the implications immense. At intervals, the room was punctuated by the sharp, mechanical hum of aging processors and the soft, rhythmic beeping of data logs confirming each successive breakthrough. Celeste's inner dialogue became a steady stream of questions and tentative hypotheses. Is this merely a relic of a bygone war, or a carefully constructed trap to lure in those desperate enough to seek power? She wondered aloud. Her thoughts were interrupted by a burst of static from the speakers, a prelude to an automated message that played, its voice cold and emotionless. Warning, decoding process reaching critical threshold. Unauthorized access will trigger countermeasures. Her heart hammered as the warning faded into silence, the room's tension amplifying with the knowledge that every byte of information held dual significance, both as a beacon of hope and a harbinger of impending catastrophe. In that moment, Celeste's resolve crystallized. She could not, and would not, allow this treasure trove of secrets to be exploited by those who sought to wield it for authoritarian control. Determined to press forward, Celeste isolated the most intricate segment of the transmission, a dense matrix of data interlaced with what appeared to be a self-referential algorithm. As she meticulously parsed the lines, fragments of dialogue from the past began to emerge, as if the warship itself was recounting its final moments. Hushed voices spoke of loss, sacrifice, and an inevitable reckoning. Technical terms intertwined with human emotion, painting a picture of a world on the precipice of irrevocable change. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Celeste paused and whispered, "Every message tells a story, ours, and those who have fallen before us." The lab, silent except for the rhythmic tapping of her fingers and the soft buzz of ancient machinery, seemed to resonate with the gravity of her words. It was as if the very air around her was charged with the ghosts of past conflicts, urging her to decode not just a series of instructions, but to understand the moral weight of every decision encapsulated in this final transmission. Hours bled into the night as Celeste wove together the strands of cryptic messages, each revelation heightening the urgency of her quest. The code was not merely technical. It was a narrative of warning, a blueprint for potential redemption or total annihilation. With each deciphered line, the magnitude of the superweapon's dormant power became clearer, a power that, if unleashed, could reshape the remnants of civilization into a dystopian order dictated by ruthless ambition. In that clandestine laboratory, under the watchful gaze of a starless sky, Celeste prepared to take the next step, a plunge into the dangerous unknown. The warship's final transmission was more than a relic. It was a call to action, a challenge to confront the darkness of the past in order to forge a future unburdened by its mistakes. And as the data streams converged into a coherent narrative, she knew that the truth was within reach, a truth that carried the promise of salvation or the specter of ultimate destruction. The cityscape had transformed into a treacherous labyrinth, a maze of crumbling concrete, shattered glass, and eerie, half-lit alleyways where danger lurked in every shadow. Celeste navigated these ruins with a relentless urgency, her footsteps echoing against the cold, indifferent walls of abandoned skyscrapers. Every narrow passage and derelict overpass became a stage for the unfolding drama, a pursuit marked by whispered secrets, fleeting alliances, and the palpable fear of discovery. Earlier that day, word had spread among the clandestine circles that Celeste's groundbreaking discoveries were no longer confined to her hidden laboratory. The coded transmission, once a solitary beacon of the past, had now caught the attention of Admiral Cale Voss and his loyalists. With each passing hour, Celeste found herself relentlessly pursued, not only by the forces of the old regime, but by the looming specter of Voss's unyielding ambition. The stakes had never been higher. In a frantic dash through rain-slicked streets, Celeste clutched a portable data drive containing the most critical fragments of her decoding work. The drive, its contents a promise of salvation or destruction, felt almost too heavy with the burden of its secrets. Neon reflections danced on puddles at her feet, and the distant wail of sirens served as a grim soundtrack to her flight. Behind her, the sound of pursuit, a mix of engine roars and harsh, commanding shouts, grew louder with every step, urging her onward and into the unknown. She veered into a narrow, winding alley where the oppressive gloom offered temporary refuge. The air was thick with the metallic tang of decay, and every shadow seemed to conceal a potential threat. Heart pounding, she paused to catch her breath, her mind racing with plans of evasion and counter-strategies. In that fleeting moment of solitude, her thoughts were interrupted by the crackle of her comlink, a voice, cold and commanding, slicing through the silence. "Dr. Marlowe, you cannot hide forever. Meet me at the nexus point, where destiny and destruction collide. There, your fate will be sealed." Voss's message reverberated through the static, laden with both menace and an unsettling invitation. The challenge was clear, and despite the danger, Celeste felt a surge of resolve. She knew that to understand the full implications of the warship's final transmission, she would have to confront Voss face to face. With a swift recalibration of her course, she abandoned the temporary shelter of the alleyway and plunged into the sprawling ruins, where every step was a defiant stand against the encroaching darkness. The chase culminated at a forgotten control center nestled in the bowels of an old government facility. Here, beneath layers of dust and debris, Celeste found herself in a vast chamber illuminated by the intermittent flicker of malfunctioning neon lights. The room, a relic of a once thriving command hub, resonated with a haunting silence, a silence that would soon be shattered by the impending confrontation. In the center of the chamber stood Admiral Cale Voss, his imposing figure bathed in a cold, bluish glow from the shattered skylight above. His eyes, sharp and unyielding, locked onto Celeste with a mix of challenge and grim satisfaction. The air between them crackled with tension as the echoes of their footsteps merged with the distant hum of forgotten machinery. "You've been quite resourceful, Dr. Marlowe," Voss began, his tone measured yet edged with irony. His voice carried the weight of countless battles fought and ideologies cemented in blood and sacrifice. But resourcefulness alone won't shield you from the consequences of what you seek to unleash. Celeste squared her shoulders, her gaze unwavering. "I'm not here to unleash chaos, Admiral," she retorted, her voice firm despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "I'm here to uncover the truth, no matter how dark or dangerous it may be. This transmission is a warning, not a promise of power." For a long, suspended moment, the only sound was the erratic drip of water echoing off the cold concrete walls. Then Voss stepped closer, his presence both magnetic and intimidating. "Truth, like power, is a double-edged sword. And you, Celeste, stand at the very edge of that blade," he whispered, his words laced with an unsettling mix of admiration and threat. Their dialogue wove a tapestry of clashing ideals and raw emotion. Celeste's determination was met with Voss's fervent belief in a new order, a world remade from the ashes of chaos, regardless of the cost. As they exchanged words, the control center transformed into a crucible where past grievances, personal scars, and the overarching fate of their broken world converged. The confrontation escalated rapidly. With tactical precision, Voss's guards moved to encircle them, their silhouettes emerging from the gloom like wraiths of authority. But Celeste, drawing on the deep reservoir of her survival instincts, retreated swiftly into the maze-like corridors of the facility. Her heart pounded like a war drum as she darted through narrow passages and secret stairwells, every turn a calculated gamble in a deadly game of cat and mouse. Outside, the night air was filled with the cacophony of clashing wills and the relentless pursuit of destiny. The battle was not merely physical. It was a profound contest of ideologies, a high-stakes chess match where every move bore the weight of a fractured humanity. In the heart of the ruined control center, the confrontation between Celeste and Voss had set into motion a chain of events that would reverberate far beyond the confines of the crumbling facility. In that intense, volatile moment, with the darkness of a lost world pressing in from all sides, the truth of the warship's final transmission loomed larger than ever, a truth that promised both redemption and ruin, and demanded that every secret, every shadow, be confronted head-on. The cold vacuum of space seemed to hold its breath as Celeste stepped aboard the ancient warship. Its interior was a cathedral of decay, where once commanding consoles and illuminated panels now flickered weakly under the weight of time. Here, in the silent grandeur of a relic that had witnessed the zenith and nadir of humanity, the final transmission played out, a spectral narrative echoing through corridors that had long since lost their purpose. Celeste moved cautiously along the central aisle, her boots echoing on the cracked floor. The warship's core, a vast chamber dominated by a colossal, dormant command console, beckoned like the beating heart of a forgotten giant. Streams of static and intermittent beeps filled the air, punctuating the oppressive silence with the sound of a life that had not fully died. In this charged moment, every shadow and every flicker of light felt imbued with the memories of battles fought, hopes ignited, and dreams shattered. At the heart of the chamber, a holographic interface slowly materialized, displaying a cascade of cryptic symbols and urgent warnings. As Celeste approached, the warship's final transmission surged to life, its voice resonant and layered with the weight of countless souls. This is the final warning. Heed the legacy of your past. It intoned, the sound reverberating off metal walls like a chorus of lost voices. Celeste paused, her breath caught in a fragile balance between awe and apprehension. The transmission carried not only data but the emotional imprint of those who had sacrificed everything. It was as if the warship itself, in its final act of defiance against oblivion, had chosen to speak one last time, a solemn, heartfelt plea to prevent the resurgence of destructive power. In that moment, the ghost of the past mingled with the present. Celeste's mind flashed with images of battles, of leaders who had once commanded the cosmos with unwavering resolve, and of the profound costs of ambition. The data on the console revealed plans for a superweapon, dormant yet potent, a device engineered to turn the tides of conflict with a single, devastating activation. The warship's message was clear. Its power was not meant to be wielded for conquest, but to serve as a grim reminder of the perils of unchecked ambition. Before Celeste could fully absorb the magnitude of the revelation, the heavy sound of footsteps echoed through the chamber. Admiral Cale Voss emerged from the shadows, his presence as imposing as the relic around them. His eyes, reflecting both determination and a haunted regret, locked onto Celeste. "You've come far, Doctor," he said, his voice measured yet laced with an unmistakable challenge. "But can you truly comprehend what you risk unleashing?" Celeste's gaze did not waver. "I comprehend enough to know that some power is not meant to be revived, Admiral. This transmission is a final plea, a warning left for those who would dare rewrite history with the fires of war." For a long, tense moment, the two stood amidst the ghostly glow of the command console, their conflicting ideologies mirrored in the dim light. The air was thick with the resonance of the warship's words, a cacophony of regret and hope that underscored the fragility of the future. In that charged silence, the final transmission pulsed once more, its message echoing in both voices, a dirge for a past mired in hubris and a beacon for a future still uncharted. As the holographic symbols shifted and danced, a digital requiem of bygone eras. Celeste realized that the fate of countless lives hinged on the decision that lay before her. The superweapon, dormant and deadly, was a Pandora's box waiting to be opened. With trembling resolve, she extended a hand toward the console, determined to either seal away its peril forever or risk igniting a conflagration of chaos that could consume what little remained of humanity's fragile hope. In that silent, decisive moment, the warship's final transmission ceased its cyclic lament, leaving the chamber enveloped in a profound stillness, a pregnant pause before the inevitable clash of ideals. The air vibrated with the potential of a single, irreversible action, as if the universe itself waited with bated breath for the choice that would define the future. In the heavy silence that followed the final confrontation, the once resounding hum of the warship's core dwindled to a quiet, mournful echo. The chamber, still aglow with the last flickers of holographic symbols, now bore the weight of consequence, a tangible reminder that every action carved new paths in a landscape of ruin and redemption. Celeste stood alone amid the lingering echoes of battle, her heart pounding with a turbulent mixture of relief and dread. The superweapon, its dormant power now irrevocably sealed by her decisive intervention, radiated an eerie calm. Around her, the decaying architecture of the warship transformed into a mausoleum of lost ambitions and shattered dreams. Here, in the aftermath of conflict, the raw truths of the past and the uncertain promises of the future converged into one profound moment of revelation. She sank to her knees on the cold, scarred floor, her fingers grazing over the terminal where decisions had been made, decisions that would echo far beyond the confines of this ruined vessel. Every flicker of light and each muted tone from the deactivated consoles whispered stories of sacrifice, of lives given in the pursuit of power, and of those who had fought to prevent history from repeating its darkest chapters. It was a silent requiem for the fallen and a solemn promise for what might yet be salvaged from the wreckage of a civilization undone. As she contemplated the gravity of her choice, the bitter taste of regret mingled with a glimmer of hope. Memories flooded her mind, of comrades lost in the chaos of former wars, of the vibrant past that had once been filled with promise, and of the relentless pursuit of truth that had guided her every step. In that reflective solitude, Celeste recognized that the warship's final transmission was never merely a warning. It was a mirror held up to the soul of humanity. It forced each person who encountered it to confront their own complicity in the rise and fall of empires, and to question the moral cost of unbridled ambition. The corridors of the warship, once echoing with the clash of wills and the tension of impending catastrophe, now held a somber silence, a silence that spoke of endings and the uncertain possibility of new beginnings. In whispered conversations with her trusted allies, Celeste shared her vision of a future forged not through the resurrection of old powers, but through the reconciliation of a fractured past. "We must learn from our mistakes," she urged, her voice steady yet imbued with sorrow. "This is not the end, but a turning point, a chance to rebuild, not by reclaiming lost power, but by understanding its true cost." As the realization of her actions settled over her, a subtle warmth began to kindle within the cold darkness. The revelations born of the warship's final message, its stern warnings, and its melancholic hope, transformed into a catalyst for introspection and transformation. The knowledge that absolute power had been denied did not erase the scars of history, but it offered a chance to honor those who had perished by choosing a path of redemption and renewal. In the echoing silence of the deactivated warship, Celeste vowed to carry the legacy of that fateful day with her. The revelation was clear. The future of humanity lay not in the dominion of technology or the conquest of power, but in the resilience of the human spirit, a spirit capable of learning from the past, embracing change, and rising from the ruins with renewed purpose. Thus, in the heart of desolation, amid the remnants of once great ambitions, the seeds of hope were sown. The truth of the final transmission had been revealed, a truth that would guide those brave enough to forge a new destiny in the aftermath of devastation. In the lingering aftermath of calamity and conflict, dawn crept slowly over a world reborn from its own ashes. The once forbidding warship, now a silent relic of humanity's past missteps, rested in the cosmic stillness. Its once imposing structure had softened into a faded monument, a testament to both the hubris that once ruled and the hard-won wisdom that now beckoned a gentler future. Celeste emerged from the shadowed corridors of the derelict vessel, her eyes reflecting the tender glow of a new beginning. Outside, the vast expanse of space shimmered with the soft light of distant stars, each one a reminder that even in darkness, hope endures. In that celestial panorama, every speck of light echoed with the promise of renewal and the delicate interplay of endings and beginnings. She stood at the precipice of a ruined hangar, where the decay of forgotten technology met the unyielding beauty of the cosmos. Here, amidst twisted metal and shattered memories, Celeste allowed herself a rare moment of quiet introspection. The air was filled with a gentle murmur, a cosmic hymn that spoke of loss, resilience, and the infinite capacity of the human spirit to mend its wounds. In the wake of the final transmission's revelations, she had set forth on a path of healing and transformation. The superweapon that once symbolized absolute power now lay dormant, its threat neutralized by the courage and conviction of a single individual determined to break the cycle of destruction. Celeste's choice had not been made in haste. It was the culmination of a journey that had tested her resolve, unearthed buried sorrows, and ultimately kindled the light of hope within her heart. Around her, the fractured remnants of a lost civilization began to stir with cautious optimism. Small clusters of survivors, long hidden in the recesses of abandoned shelters and forgotten outposts, emerged from their isolation. Their faces, etched with hardship and lined with the scars of a turbulent past, now shone with a tentative anticipation. A collective breath held in the stillness before a new chapter unfolded. In hushed voices and tentative smiles, they exchanged words of promise, their hearts buoyed by the belief that this desolation could give way to a future built on empathy and understanding. Celeste moved among them, a silent guardian of both memory and renewal. With each conversation, she planted seeds of change, a vision where the ghosts of power and conquest were replaced by an enduring commitment to unity and growth. "We have the chance to rise from our mistakes," she told them, her voice carrying the weight of experience and the hope of transformation. "In every shattered shard of our past, there lies the potential for something beautiful, something resilient." Slowly, like the delicate unfolding of a flower in the first light of spring, a collective rebirth took shape. The warship, once a vessel of destruction, became an unlikely monument to redemption, a reminder that even in the deepest void, a flicker of life can kindle an enduring flame. Its silent halls, once haunted by the echoes of conflict, now resonated with the gentle cadence of newfound purpose. In that pivotal moment, as the survivors gathered beneath the expansive sky and the quiet hum of distant galaxies, the world around them transformed. The legacy of the final transmission was no longer a warning of impending doom, but a call to embrace the lessons of the past and chart a future unburdened by old regrets. The remnants of the old order would forever serve as a testament to what was lost, but now they also illuminated the way forward, a path paved by hope, reconciliation, and the unyielding human spirit. As the first rays of a rejuvenated sun crested the horizon, Celeste looked upward, her heart filled with a serene resolve. In the vast canvas of space, every star whispered a promise that even in the aftermath of despair, the seeds of rebirth could flourish, crafting a future defined not by the scars of the past, but by the bright, enduring light of possibility. The journey was far from over, yet in that transformative hour, the world dared to dream once more. Every heartbeat, every breath, and every shared smile signified the dawn of a new era, one where the lessons of history guided the hands that shaped tomorrow.